All right, dividing mixed numbers. Okay, the steps for dividing mixed numbers or fractions is very similar to the ones for multiplication. The first thing you have to do is change all mixed numbers or whole numbers to improper fractions. Okay? If they are proper fractions, then you don't convert Okay, in other words, if we have, for example, 3/4 divided by 2 1/3, the 3/4 you wouldn't change. Okay, just the 2 1/3 you would change. Okay, the 3/4 would stay 3/4. Okay, the 2 1/3 would change to an improper. Okay, so that step is the same as multiplication of mixed numbers, whole numbers, or fractions. Okay, so the step ones are the same. Step 2 is where there is a difference. Step 2 in multiplication was we did the Jimmy Neutron, we cross-canceled that. Okay, step 2 in dividing of mixed numbers or fraction is this. You must change the divisor once again is the fraction behind the division sign. Okay, you must change the divisor, the fraction that is behind the division sign, to the reciprocal. Now, I'm going to cover reciprocal in a second. Okay, for right now, just write it down. Okay, I want to write the steps down and then I'll go over them. Okay. Step 3, change the division sign to multiplication sign. Step 4, cross cancel. Step 5, multiply straight across. And reduce, if possible. Okay, so like I said, it's very similar to multiplication. Okay, and like I said, I'll cover reciprocal in here in a second. I'll cover examples here in a second. Give you an opportunity to finish writing that down. Let's talk about reciprocal. Okay? The reciprocal means to flip the fraction or invert the fraction. Okay? Now, before you can do the reciprocal to a mixed number or whole number, you must change them to improper fractions. Okay, so for example, if I have the fraction 3/4 and I want to do the reciprocal of 3/4, the reciprocal of 3/4 would be 4/3, 4/3. Okay. So the reciprocal of 1/2 would be 2/1. Okay, the reciprocal of 9/7 would be 7/9. Okay, Zach?
But didn't you just say you have to change them to improper fractions before?
No, I said you have to change whole numbers and mixed numbers to improper fractions before you can do the reciprocal. All of these that I've given you here, that's a proper fraction, that's a proper fraction, that's already an improper fraction. Okay? Now, let's look at mixed numbers. Let's say I had this, 4 2/3. And I want to change that to a reciprocal. Let me write it down here where I've got more room. 4 2/3, and I want to change that to a reciprocal. Okay, the first thing you have to do is take 4 2/3 and change it to an improper fraction. So 4 2/3 is an improper fraction, means 4 times 3, which is equal to 12, and then 12 plus 2, which is equal to 14. So this, as an improper fraction, is 14/3. Nope. Yes, 14/3. I'm thinking over 2. Okay, so 14/3 as a reciprocal then is 3 over 14. So 4 2/3 as a reciprocal is 3/14. Okay? Tristan? Okay. Shalene? You lost it? Well, if you bang your head against the wall, you might come back to you. All right, if it comes back, raise your hand and I'll be glad to answer it. Huh? I don't know. Next time you lose an idea, try it and see if it does. All right, now, so let's look at this. Let's say I had 6 and I need to do the reciprocal of it. Owen?
You would turn 6 into an improper fraction.
Which is what?
6 over 1.
Correct. Then we would do what?
You would flip it.
Which would give us what?
1/6.
Yeah. So the reciprocal of 6 is 1 over 6. Now, we only flip the number behind the division sign. So let's look at an actual problem. Your first problem in your homework is this problem. We've already done the parts to it. Okay, 4 2/3 divided by 6. Step number 1 says to change all mixed numbers or whole numbers to improper fractions. So step 1 is to change 4 2/3 to an improper fraction, which is 14 over 3. And then take 6 and change it to an improper fraction, which is 6 over 1. So I have 14 over 3 divided by 6 over 1. Step 2 is to change 6 over 1 to the reciprocal. We already said it is what? 1 over 6. So now I have 14 over 3, division sign 1 over 6. Step 3 is to change the division sign to multiplication sign. Okay, so that means 14 over 3 times 1 over 6. Step 4 is Jimmy Neutron, or cross cancel. Okay, now, so as I look at this, is there any common factors? So is there any common factors between 14 and 6? Yes, it is 2. So 14 divided by 2 equals what? 7. So I'm going to mark the 14 out and put a 7. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. So I'm going to mark the 6 out and put a 3. Now, step 5 is to multiply straight across. So that would be 7 times 1 over 3 times 3. 7 times 1 is 7. 3 times 3, 9. and that is your answer. Okay? Zach?
You said to do the reciprocal of the divisor, which is
The number behind the division sign. Nope. I did the number. This is the divisor. It is behind the division sign. Correct? Remember, it's always this problem is dividend divided by divisor. How can the first number be behind the division sign? Unless you're Hebrew. If you're Hebrew, you move right to left. But as an American, I move left to right. So as I'm moving from left to right, what's behind it is the second number, which is the divisor. So basically, the second number is the one you always do the divisor of, or you always do the reciprocal of. Okay. You got all that written down, Miss Celine? Every single part of it. You got all of this over here written down. All right. That's okay. In 8th grade yesterday, we took 5 pages of notes. So. All right. Now, let's do another one. I'm going to let you do this one on your own. 2 and 3 over 5 divided by 1 and 7 over 10. Okay? Use your steps. Step 1. Step 1 involves improper fractions. You got a pen? Yeah, use a pen if you need to use a pen. No talking. Does not require you to comment. I know you think we all want to hear your voice, but we really don't. Girls. Well, if you don't, then it's going to be totally wrong. Because if you don't change it to the reciprocal, then the problem you have is you're changing a division problem to a multiplication problem without doing anything else to it. Okay?
And you don't change the number that's on the left side of it. You only change the one to the left.
You always do the one behind the division sign, the second number. If you can't cross cancel, then you just have to multiply straight across. All right, let's look at it. Well, keep working, but I'm gonna get to the point where hopefully you're at. First thing is improper fractions. So that would be 13 over 5 and 17 over 10. Okay, that's your first step. Step 2 is the reciprocal. So step 2 is 13 over 5 divided by 10 over 17. Step 3, change division to multiplication.
I didn't get 10 over 17. I got 7 over 17. No, 5 over 17. I got 13. That's a lot of numbers.
Step 4, cross cancel. So 5 goes into 5 once, 5 into 10 2 times. There is not a common factor between 13 and 17. Okay, so from here, there's no common factor. So the common factor between 10 and 5 was 5. Okay? The common factor between 13 and 17 is nothing. Okay? Step 5 is to multiply straight across. So that would be 13 times 2 over 1 times 17. Okay, which is 26 over 17. Now, you did not get the correct answer if you did not reduce it. Reduce, I have to take 17 into 26. Goes 1 time, remainder 9. Put the 9 over 17. So 1 and 9/17. Now, remember, on your cross canceling, you could have written this as 13 times 5 times 2 over 5 times 17. In other words, I wrote them with their prime factorization. The 5 and the 5 cancel out. Okay? Leaving me with 13 times 2 and 1 times 17. Okay? So either way, I don't care. If you understand prime factorization better, then prime factor them out. Okay? All right. Let's look at this one. 2 and 5 over 12 divided by 3 and 1/3. Okay. Emma, what is the improper fraction for 2 and 5/12?
29 over 12.
Correct. So that is 29 over 12. What is the improper fraction for 3 over 3rd? 3 over 3 1/3, Brandon. 10 over 3. So there's your improper fractions. Okay? Christina, what is the reciprocal of 10 over 3? 3/10. Okay? 29 over 12. Change that to multiplication. 3/10. So 29 times 3/10 would be 29 times 3 on top, and then 2 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 5 on bottom. This right here is the 10. This right here is the 12. Okay? The only thing that can cancel out is the 3. Same thing over here. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So now you have multiply straight across. You have 29 on top and 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 on bottom, which is the same thing as over here, 29 times 1 on top and 4 times 10 on bottom. And that gives me 29 times 40. 29 times 40 over 40. Okay? All right. Next. I want you to do this one on your own. 2 and 4 over 5 divided by 7 over 8. Two and 4 over 5 divided by 7 over 8. We have 2 and 4/5. 2 and 4/5 is an improper fraction of what, Jesse?
You have to multiply.
You should have it there on your paper.
It's an improper. Oh yeah, I got that. Wow, 14 over 5.
Yeah, 14 over 5 divided by 7 over 8. We don't do anything to. We don't have to change it to an improper fraction because it's already a proper fraction. So we take and go 14 over 5. We're going to change that to multiplication, and we're going to do the reciprocal of 7/8, which is 8 over 7. Okay? As we look at those two, there's a common factor of 7. 7 goes into 7 one time, 7 into 14 2 times. There is no common factor between 5 and 8. So I take 2 times 8 over 5 times 1. If you do the prime factorization method, stay seated. This is what you would have. Stay seated and quit talking. You would have this right here if you did the prime factorization method. Okay, and that would still give you 16 over 5, 16 over 5. You divide 5 into 16, It goes 3 times. Remainder 1. Put the 1 over the 5. And that gives you 1 1/5. 3, excuse me, some of you got 1 1/5. I put that by mistake. Now, your homework. Sit down, Tristan, or you will stay here for a while. Your homework is 6.5, 7 through 23, and 27 through 35. 27 through 35 are review problems. Sit down. I have not told anybody they could leave yet. 27 through 35 is changing decimals to percents and percents to decimals. Okay? That is due tomorrow. You may go.